Hello and welcome to Codified Lounge. My name is Gaurang, and in this video we are going to continue our journey with CSS selectors. We are going to talk about pseudo classes, pseudo selectors and nested selectors. So I hope you guys are ready. I know I am. If you are new to the channel, this video is part of a series called Web Development Fundamentals, where we cover web development concepts in a beginner friendly way. So if you want to check out the whole series, the link of the playlist is in the description. So without any further delays, let's get started. Let's talk about descendant selectors, right? So for that, let's create this list. Let's create this anchor tag saying Civil War Intel. Let's create this anchor tag saying Civil War Intel, right? So this is intelligence report in Civil War that happened between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, right? And we'll create another heading tag. We'll say Team Iron Man, right? We'll create an unordered list, right? We'll add list element and we'll say anchor tag ironman.html, Ironman, right? And in this list element, we'll create another ordered list and we'll say, okay, what did Iron Man want, right? So what did he want? Why did we fight about it? So he, let's say, wanted to sign the, what was that? Sokovia, something like that, right? Accords, right? What was his other thing? He wanted to avenge his parents, right? Because that guy Bucky killed him. And finally he wanted to keep his friends safe. He was worried that they might be in danger. Right? Who joined this team? So this is all like a nested list of things, right? So let's also add other team members who joined him. We had Captain Rogers, I think that was his name. Rods, Captain Rods. So we'll add an anchor tag, right? James Rods.html. Rods, right? Who else was in his team? We had Natasha Romanow, right? And let's add one more. Oops, what did I do? Yeah, let's add one more. We had Spider-Man, right? So this is the info we have on Civil War, right? We had Team Iron Man. Why did he wanted to fight, and who was in his team? Let's similarly add Team Captain America. So let's close this list. Let's add another H3 Team Captain America, right? Similarly, we'll create a similar list. Let's just copy this list so it's easier. Let's just copy. Let's just paste. Make sure we format it right. Team Captain America. So we had Captain America. Right, he didn't want to sign this thing. He wanted to, let's just copy this, right? They both wanted to keep their friends safe, right? That was, they agreed on that. He wanted to keep Bucky safe as well, right? His friend Bucky. And who joined his team? Obviously there was Bucky Barnes. See, so much work even Nick Fury didn't do. Let's add this. Bucky Barnes. Then we had this guy, Clint Barton. If you don't remember, he was the guy with the bow and arrow. Everyone remembers it like that only. And he also had Ant-Man. I know his team was bigger, but we'll just name a few. Alright. So we have everything. We have Team Intel, we have Civil War, we have Team Iron Man, Team Captain America, notes on them, right? Now Nick Fury wants to make sure he tracks all the superheroes here. Now we need to style it, right? Captain America sees this, hey, I want to style it in a certain way. So let's do this. Let's add a class name, right? Let's add a class name and say Iron Man. And what do we want to do is for all the anchor tags in Iron Man, we wanted to theme it with Iron Man color. So we'll just say any unordered list dot Iron underscore man, right? So what we are saying here is any element which has this class Iron Man. So here there is no space between this. So we have a class selector and element selector, and there is no space between them. So what this selects is, it says any unordered list with the class Iron name. That's what it selects, right? Now if we add space and say a anchor tag, so we are saying any anchor tag inside this unordered list, right? Apply these styles to it, right? So we can say background color gold, because Iron Man red and gold, and foreground color color red, right? The Iron Man suit color. So let's look at the selectors again. So in this selector we have first the element selector followed by the class name. It's like a single word. Here we are selecting only the unordered list with this class name, and then we are saying anchor tag, right? So any anchor tag inside this unordered list matches this rule, right? It can be any, it can be immediately after unordered list, it can be inside the list element, it can be inside the ordered list inside the list element, right? And we'll see that example in a second. And then apply these styles to it. So now if you open our Avengers initiative, if you see Iron Man, James Rhodes, all these guys, they all have golden background and red foreground color, right? And what do I mean by any means? Let's say this Sokovia Records, even that was the anchor tag, right? Because it links to the document. Let's just say, oh, we are so professional that we also have the contract .html, right? Even this anchor tag matches this rule. If you go back to the page, even that has the gold red over gold style in it, right? So any descendant any descendant of this particular selector will have this color, right? Same way, let's do the same for Captain America. ul dot Captain America and say A, and background color, let's say red, white and blue, right? So blue, light blue, color white, right? And make sure we have the class name over here. So we'll just say class and Captain America. So now if you see, everything inside Captain America has this. So now if you also add anchor tag to the Sokovia Records, it will have the same styles, right? So now let's say Nick Fury came and he saw this and he said, okay, this is good, this looks amazing, but there are too many bullets over here. I don't like bullets, because he's a fighter. Like, everyone hates bullets. They hurt you, they kill you. So he says, I don't like bullets. So okay, let's remove them. So we'll do the same thing what we learned earlier. We'll just use the element selector, list element, and we'll say list style type none, right? So don't worry about the actual styles. We'll go into those details as we go forward. But for now, just focus on the selector. So we are selecting this list element and we are saying, hey, the list style type is none. Right? So list style type is the like the bullet points that we want. We don't want any bullets over there. We just want the text. Now if we see the web page, there is no bullets over here. But we removed bullets from the whole page. Right? There's nothing. Even the ordered list doesn't have bullets. And so Nick Fury was furious. What the hell are you doing? Right? We need bullets everywhere else. Just remove the bullets from here. We said, okay, we'll do that. So we'll do what we learned earlier, right? We'll just say ul li, right? So any list element that follows this unordered list and remove the bullet over here, right? Again, we go there. Well, I don't think that fixed our issue, right? Still, it's the same thing because all list elements follow an unordered list in our case. So we said, oh, okay. Let's be more specific. Let's say, let's say any unordered list that has the class Iron Man. Right? I'll just copy it. Okay, let's just keep it here for now. Yeah, any unordered class that has any unordered list that has the class Iron Man, and any list element inside that, remove the list style for that. If we go here, okay, now it makes sense. Our navigation has the bullet points, but hey, what we want these three. We want this. Yeah, we want the sub bullets to have numbered bullets because those are three reasons we want to have bullets over there. So we want to be smarter about this. So now we use this. This is the child combinator. So what this says is any element, right? In this case, any list element which is immediate child of unordered list with class Iron Man. Add these styles to this, right? So what is the difference between this and this? In case of first one, where we added the style to anchor element, we apply it to any anchor element nested inside this parent element. So like I said, it can be immediately after the parent element, it can be after list element inside parent element, or it can be over here. But in this case, we are saying only apply this style to an element immediately after the parent element. So the immediate child, not grandchild and further, right? So this particular, the less than symbol, the greater than symbol, it represents the immediate descendant of this element. So here I was saying, okay, select this element and apply this style to it. Now if we see our web page, now it makes sense. Our outer list doesn't have any bullets. Our inner list have 1, 2, 3 bullets, right? Awesome. So we'll make the same style over here. We can kind of do what we learned earlier. We can have a comma separated value and we can apply both the lists like this, and even Captain America list is applied like that, right? So next, let's add this, right? Let's say the civil war is still going on, right? And they still need members to fight a civil war, it seems. So let's say civil war recruitment is going on, right? And we'll add a new section over here for the recruitment. So you see civil war info, you see what the teams are fighting for, and you can join the team, right? So we'll add a simple message. Whose team are you in? We'll add a simple input type, input type radio, right? Because we want to select either Captain America or this guy, one or the other. And we'll give it a name. Name should be same, Civil War Team, right? And we'll give it ID, Team Captain, right? We'll also give a value. So let's move this to the right a bit. We'll give a value. We'll say Team Captain, and we'll give a label for this. Label for Team Captain and Captain America, right? And we'll add a similar radio button for Team Iron Man. Team Iron Man, Team Iron Man. Oops. Let's make sure we do it Team. Okay. Civil War Team, Team Captain, Team Iron Man. Okay. Let's just do a quick look on how it looks. All right. We can recruit. Now they are recruiting, right? So let's just all add this message. Congratulations, you are recruited, right? Let's look at the page again, right? It already shows this. So we want to hide this at first, right? So how do we do this? So there are multiple ways to select it, right? We can use Descendant selector, right? We can say any paragraph inside this section should be hidden, but in that case, both this paragraph are hidden, right? So if I say a section followed by P, visibility hidden, oops, not collapsed, hidden. Again, we are going to cover this, like visibility, all these attributes in next class. Again, we are just focusing on selectors right now, right? So we are saying, hey, any paragraph that is an immediate child of any section, hide it. Let's go to our web page. If you see, it hides both the paragraphs, so that doesn't work here, right? So, oops. Yeah, so what we need here is we need a sibling selector. So we need any paragraph that is a sibling of, let's say, this input, and it follows that input. So how does that work? So we can say input, right? And we can say type radio, and the syntax for the syntax is this tilde sign, right? Let me zoom in, right? This is the syntax for that. And what this says is that as long as these two selectors are siblings, that is, they are of the same parent, and this selector follows this selector, apply this style. So in this case, as long as the paragraph and input type radio are siblings, they belong to the same parent, and as long as this paragraph comes after this radio, if these conditions match, if these rules match, apply this style. So in this case, the browser will go through it and say, hey, this paragraph and this paragraph are siblings, they are of the same parent, but this paragraph comes before this input, so I cannot apply this style. But this paragraph comes after this input. It doesn't have to be immediately after, it can be anywhere after that input, apply that style. So now if you go to our web page, see the whose team are you in is there, but the second one is hidden, right? So that's how that works. So till now we were talking about all these selectors, right? So like I said, all these selectors can then be combined into each other. So here we did this attribute selector. You can replace it with a class selector, right? I can say class equal to recruitment. I can give class recruitment, and I can say that, hey, apply this style for only the input which are inside a recruitment class, to be more specific, right? Or you can also give the radio a class name and say, instead of input type radio, you can say, let's give a class name over here, right? Let's say class team, right? And let's give it to both of them for consistency. Right, and instead of selecting by element, you can say, hey, if any paragraph that is inside a class team, apply this style. So now if you go here, again, it still works as expected, right? So all these different kind of selectors can be mixed and matched with each other to create more such combinations, to be more specific about the styles you want to apply, or to be more generic about the styles you want to apply, right? So next we are going to see different kind of selectors, different kind of classes called pseudo classes, right? So what does pseudo class means? It basically means a special selector that specifies a specific state of the element. So what is the state of the element? So let's go back to our page. Right now, if you let's start with input, right? So if you see closely, when I select the input changes the way it looks, right? It went from squared corners to rounded corners, right? So in this case, when I select the input is in selected state. Same way, when I hover over any of these links, right, they are in hover state. Basically, any interaction that we do with these links, they are in a different state. Once I open the link, right, if you see in any browsers, when you open a link, and if you go back to the page, the web page sometimes changes the link color. Why? Because it tells you that you have visited these links before, right? Same way, clicking the button changes the button state from being normal to clicked, right? So all those are different states of input, and then depending on the state, you want to add some styles to it. So those classes are known as pseudo classes, and the syntax is slightly different. So let's start with links. Let's say I want to change the link color when you hover over it, right? So I can do A for anchor tag, and then a colon, and then the state for it. So I would say hover, right? So this hover is whenever you have the mouse pointer over the link, it applies these styles to it. And what should we do? Let's say, let's increase the font size, right, to 20px. Again, defining font size in pixels is not recommended way, but till we understand font sizes and all, we'll just use this as an example, right? So we'll change the font size to 20 pixels. Now if you hover over this, if you see the link size, whenever my mouse pointer goes over the link, it increases in size, right? To be more specific, let's I don't know what is this. To be more specific, let's do it 25 pixels. That might be. Let me close this. Yeah, see, it kind of increases the size. So that's the pseudo class. Basically, colon hover is the pseudo class, and it only applies when the link is in that particular state. Same way, let's see, we have a state visited, right? The link is in visited state when you have clicked the link once. So let's say if it is visited, we want to change the background color to black, right? That means you have redacted, right? It means you already seen the info once, you don't have to see it again. Now if you go there, see if it automatically highlighted home and reset to black because I visited home, like the index.html a few times. I've already visited Google a few times. So let's get missions.html just to test this example, right? HTML, right? And if we refresh this page. If we click on missions, we go to this HTML page, and if you see, it highlighted missions as black, right? So that's another state, and you can then change this for all the other input elements. So let's try for buttons, right? So we can say put type button, right? And we'll say we want to give it a state of focus. So whenever you click on the button, click on the button, sorry, not focus, active, right? We want to say background color, change it to white. So when you click on the button, that's active mode. So we want to say the background color change to white. Now let's check out our buttons. Oh, if you see, if you click, the color changes to white. Same for this. If you click, color changes to white. So now when you click, you see this flickering changes over here, right? So you can also add similar style to input type text, right? And for text we have focus, and let's say same thing, let's add background color white. So now if you click here, when you click on the field, it clears the required thing because you are about to type something. When you click outside, it makes it red, right? Right, so these pseudo classes these pseudo classes can be applied to almost all the elements, right? You can have hover for buttons, for text, for images, and then you can apply styles based on how you want them to behave in these particular states. So depending on that, now let's extend our example, right? So we created this section for recruitment where you added this radio button for Captain America and Iron Man and all. But now if you select them, nothing is happening, right? So let's combine everything we learned so far to make this experience better. So we added this paragraph saying congratulations, you are recruited over here, but its visibility is hidden, right? So how can we extend that? So we can say if input type, oops, not nth of the type, radio, right? Let's be more specific because we can have more inputs over there. Let's say dot team. What was the class name? Dot team. So team, right? If dot team is checked, right? If it's selected, then any P that is a sibling and that follows this team, change visibility to visible, right? So we have it hidden by default, but if you select the radio button, if the radio button is in the checked state, then make this visible. So again, let's understand how this selector works. So this selector basically selects any paragraph that is a sibling of a radio button with class team, and whenever that radio button is in checked state, it will add this style to it. Okay, let's check out our example. Let's refresh. So nothing is selected. Now if I select Captain America, congratulations, you are recruited. If I refresh again, select Iron Man, congratulations, you are recruited, right? So now you see how CSS can help with adding some more dynamic behavior to your web page. Now it's not just a blank static form. Now the form is reacting to the interaction that we make, right? We can extend this example to be a little bit more fancier. So let's do this to make it more specific, right? We can Let's comment this out. Let's add a paragraph and say let's give an ID Iron Man recruit, right, and say congratulations on joining Team Iron Man, right. Same way we'll create another paragraph. We'll say Captain America recruit, right. Congratulations on joining Team Captain America. Alright, so we have these two elements. Let's see how they behave right now. Right, whenever we select, we are seeing both of them render. We don't want that, so let's comment this out. Let's make this more specific. So now if element, let's change this to if ID, if a radio button with ID Captain America is checked, then only render a paragraph with ID Captain America recruit. Same way, select, copy, let's change this to this. Let's change this to Team Iron Man recruit. Now if you see, let's refresh, none of them are selected, nothing visible. If you select Iron Man, congratulations on joining Team Iron Man. Refresh. If you select Captain America, congratulations on joining Team Captain America. See, now our behavior is more specific to the input we are selecting. It's more reactive to the input we are selecting, right? So that's where CSS comes into picture. So till now we selected elements. We selected elements using class names. We selected elements using IDs. We selected elements using attributes. We selected nested elements. We selected sibling elements. We selected elements based on their state, right? Now, what if we want to select part of elements, right? We want to style only certain part of those elements. How do we do that? Let's do this. After this section, we'll have a different part. Let's create another section for people who think Civil War was not needed, right? And in this section, we'll just add a paragraph saying Civil War is boring, right? And then we'll say, we'll add an anchor tag. I am leaving Marvel Universe. You know, some people, they don't understand Great Wars and they just go for something called DC, Marvel Universe, right? And we'll just add DC Comics. Okay, so we just added this section. Oops, why can't I see it? Yeah, Civil War is running, I'm linked to blah blah blah. Okay, and let's see if we can style this. So okay, so for this example, let's use a bigger text. We need a large paragraph of text, so let's just do Lorem Ipsum. If you remember, Lorem Ipsum generator is a website that generates this random text for you, right? So especially in this case where you want to create your website with some placeholder data to test your styles, to test your animations, to test how it looks in different devices. So you can use this Lorem Ipsum generator. Again, link is in the description. Generate some random text and you can just place it over here. Because sometimes while developing, thinking what to add in placeholder text is difficult, right? So let's just add this. So I added this. Let's see how it looks. Okay, I made a mistake. I had to do 2 paragraphs. So let's go back to our lore and ipsum generator. Get 1 paragraph. Copy it. Create another paragraph. Let's go to our lorem ipsum generator. Copy second paragraph. Paste it here. And now let's look at our web page. Okay, we have 2 texts over here. So, and we have given it a class name, I think. No, we have not. So let's give a class name. And yeah, let's just give the class name what we have, right? So we'll just say pseudo element example. So what are pseudo elements, right? Basically pseudo elements selectors, they allow you to apply style to the part of the element that you have selected, right? So I'll give you an example. So let's do dot and copy this thing over here, right? And we'll say apply this to any paragraph that matches that lies inside this pseudo element example class, right? And then the syntax for that is 2 colons, and then you can say first line. Next, so what this does is it matches the first line of the paragraph that is the child of this pseudo element example, right? And for the first line we can say background color yellow. Let's just do that, right? And what would it do? As you can see, it just added the background color to the first line of this paragraph in both the cases, right? Similarly, you can also do first letter, and you can do text transform uppercase. So let's say we have, instead of uppercase, we have this lowercase text. Like I have a bad habit of writing everything in lowercase. So then my CSS classes can help me. I can just do first letter of each paragraph, make it an uppercase. If you go here, it automatically makes it an uppercase. You can also apply pseudo classes to selections. So you can again say, let's just use the same example, right? So any paragraph inside this, you can say selection and background color orange, right? So selection basically only applies the style when you select the text, right? So again, it's applying the style just to part of the element, not the whole paragraph, only the part of the element, and that part is defined by either first line or first letter or first word or just the selection. Similar to this, you can also add styles after the element. So that's why we added this, right? We added this I am leaving universe, right? So we can say, hey, any anchor tag, right, which has the href equal to DC Comics, right? Anyone who wants to click on dccomics.html, right? After that anchor tag, just add content. We'll just point to it and say boring, right? We'll change the color to red, right? So what this is doing is, after this anchor tag, right, add this content and change the color to red. And the way you are familiar with this selector, we used it earlier. This is an attribute selector which matches any anchor tag with dccomics.html as the href, and after anchor tag add this content. And if you see the web page, it added this boring tag over here. So anyone who wants to leave Marvel for DC will just say, hey, you are going to a boring universe, why are you even going there, right? So those were CSS selectors. Now, like I said, this list is not an exhaustive list of CSS selectors. There are many more, right? We mostly just covered some examples showing how these selectors work and what are the basic syntax for it. But then you can expand it to any HTML element. You can expand it to any HTML element attributes, right? You can combine it with each other to create this huge list of selectors, right? So sky is the limit there. Not sky is the limit, but there are like plenty more to play around with. But I think this gives us a very good idea on getting started. So in the future videos, whenever we are using CSS selectors, you'll get an idea on what we are doing there, and then you can play around to get your hands dirty with it. So I really hope this video was helpful, and in the next class we are going to understand CSS box model, and we'll try and continue working upon our Avengers initiative example, where we'll try to improve this website a little bit more. The core idea is, going forward, we'll just create this nice, amazing, beautiful, interactive website of all the superheroes, and try and create a central place for all the content related to them. So like I said, I really hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It really helps the channel. It really helps me with the feedback, and I'll see you all next time. Till then, adios, take care, and stay safe.